The 2018 varsity sports season for the fall has wrapped up at Acadia University. Kevin Dickie is the athletic director. Lots to talk about in that first half, but certainly the highlight would have been hosting a national championship for the third time in the last 4 years.
Yeah, there's no question. It was a tremendous success here. Our team played very well. There's so much residual benefit from hosting those events. I think it's a real critical thing in terms of being a national program. I think there's about 4 or 5 areas that, that I've identified that I think are critical to be a national program. But, more importantly here in our community, just you look at the volunteers that we had. It was funny. I went to a national championship in Ontario shortly after, and they had a tough time in a big city getting volunteers. Here, it's really ironic. A small community like ours, and the engagement, huge crowds. You'd think rugby was our main sport on campus, and again, I thought our team played real well both days, and it was a tremendous success.
At football, that didn't quite go as far as they wanted to, and the 2 soccer programs as well. But it seems to me overall in athletics this year is a bit of a transition year. Even if you look at the winter sport teams, a lot of new faces, where last year 7 or 8 teams went to national championships and were almost loaded to be there.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you for sure. But it's funny when things come to a finality. You judge things on that. But you take a look. Both of our soccer teams and our football team was ranked in the top 10 in the country at one time or another. Our women's soccer team, pretty well all year around that 5, 6, 7 spot. And just unfortunate come playoff time, and 1-game shots, and it ended. And but overall the fall term, again, if we're comparing it to the year before, that was historic for our program. Tough way to end, but I thought that overall throughout the term it went well. The other thing I got to touch on too is our cross-country team made some huge strides again this year, and I had a chance to go to Kingston, Ontario, and have a chance to be able to watch Katie and Madeline compete. And Katie was number 3 in the AUS, Katie Robinson, and very, very proud of the strides that team's taken too.
Really the varsity sports season started early this year with training camp for football. And if you go back to August this year, great opportunity outside of varsity sports. Destination Acadia has become very prominent in this market. You had 2 national women's rugby programs here training and actually putting on some games. Just talk about that if you take us back about 4 months.
Well, yeah, no, the Destination Acadia piece has gone very well. We think it's a perfect place to be able to host, and it's not just sporting events. We had at one time on a Tuesday afternoon 1,500 school teachers from around this region that were here for a very powerful day, a motivational type of day and a professional development type of day for them. And we've had a lot of those different cultural activities happening as well. But, for us, again, our wheelhouse here in the athletics complex is definitely would be sporting events, and to have the Tri-Nations International Cup happen here along with the Eastern Canadian Rugby Championship and, hosting Team Canada both on the men's and women's side was very special.
I'd be remiss for not asking you about Acadia University's campaign and how it's going to impact Acadia athletics. And the university announced at homecoming weekend back on the 11th of October that the university would be fundraising $75 million here over the next few years. Just talk about the impact for athletics and the needs of Acadia athletics.
Well, I think there's 2 parts to that for sure. The first part, and it's not everybody knows everybody's story, but we're probably very similar to most institutions across the country where, the opportunity to stay sustainable right now is the challenges are there. It's just, for us right now, what our ultimate goal is to try and create the revenue and to create the resources to be able to continue to compete at the same level. And then if that's your goal, you probably shouldn't be in the business. For us, it's about getting better. So right now, there's definitely a gap that we need to fill. We're no different than across the rest of the country where we need our alumni to be able to support us. And, we're really fortunate, Len, and this, that we have that. And, we just, this campaign for Acadia is going to be critical for us to be able to be able to take that next step, for us to be able to, right now we certainly are in the top level of teams competing in the AUS. We want to stay there, but we also want to compete nationally at the highest level possible. And for us, there's no question that this is going to be the linchpin in that happening.
And that step's already been taken from a capital point of view here at Acadia when you think of a new high-performance center, new locker rooms, a refurbished arena and gymnasium. Just talk to that and the impact it's had in a very short amount of time.
Well, I think that's the best way to look at it. I mean, we can't compete with schools that are 50 and 80,000 with enrollments of those numbers doing the things that they do. We have to find ways to do things differently. And I know it's cliche, but the term Moneyball, I mean, you just have to find a way to sometimes do more with less and think differently. And, you look at the area of sports sciences and high performance, our new Stevens Center, the new high performance center that our student athletes have a chance to train in, the resurrection, if you will, of the McCain Arena. Those are all things that we've been able to do that allow our student athletes to be the best that they can be. We've got partnership with Kinduck Technologies that that I don't think many schools in Canada get an opportunity to have as sort of platforms for their sports sciences. So, those are the types of things that I think that if we can find a way to do them better than somebody else, it gives us an opportunity to be the best that we can be.
The university will get back into action with varsity sports early in January with the winter teams playing through to February and March. Kevin Dickie is the athletic director for Acadia University.